So, Padre Piper is having an old school or back to school giveaway. And he asked us a question of, when we hadn't yet graduated college or graduated college and we're heading into college, or not college, excuse me. When we had graduated high school, or not yet graduated high school, and either going on to a career or into college, what do we plan on being, or what do we see ourselves doing, and what are we doing now? And I am smoking my Moonshine Pipes Trucker Series Bent Rhodesian, and I'm having my first bowl of Peter Stalkerby's English Oriental Supreme. Now, when I had first entered high school, I was a freshman obviously, as we all enter. Being 15 years old, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I don't know why exactly I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I did. And so I kept looking into it, and I'd watch all the vet shows on Animal Planet. But the more I watched, though I did love animals, it did not seem to be the right thing for me. And when I was a junior, no, actually when I was a sophomore in high school, so my second year of high school, I took a greenhouse production class. Now, part of my high school's ag department, every year at the end of the school year, we would sell geraniums. And so the class that was responsible for this was this greenhouse production class. We grew lots of geraniums. And we planted them from seed and grew them up and watered them and took care of them. And that really sparked my interest in horticulture. The next year, I took the class again. And this time, because I had taken the class before, I was given more of a leadership role in that class. Deciding, what colors, or helping my teacher pick out what colors we would do, and how many we needed to plant. And it was a really great, wonderful experience. Also that year, I became more interested in landscape design. So, the second semester of the school year, I enrolled in a landscape design class, and I learned how to do landscape designing, or at least an entry level to it. And I was really dang good at it, and I enjoyed it a lot. So, in my high school, each senior is required to do what's called a senior project. I know, a really good name. And for my senior project, I decided to re-landscape my parents' front yard. So I drew up a design, took out old plants that were overgrown and dying, removed trees that should not be there, and I redid their front landscaping for them. And as it was becoming, before this, time to apply to colleges, I applied to 2 colleges, Kansas State University and Oklahoma State University as my second choice. Luckily, I got into Kansas State University, and I majored there. Now, and when I graduated high school, I was looking forward to going there. I was going to be majoring in horticulture with a specialization in landscape design. Now, part of this reason I was going into landscape design was, one, I was good at it, and I enjoyed it a fair amount. And my parents liked me doing it. It made them happy. And so I continued to do it, and I applied it through 2 years of the coursework. Now, in my second year, I figured whether it was the fall or the spring semester, but it really doesn't matter, I needed to take a statistics course. And by the time it got for me to enroll, all the regular statistics courses had been filled. So because of that, there was still a class open for statistics. It was business statistics. Now, the problem with this business statistics class was it was taught by a young lady that English was not her first language. Her accent was very, very thick, and it was extremely hard to understand her, or at least on my part. And because of that, during the lectures, I did not gather anything from them. Now, I needed to pass this class. So, I buckled down, and I actually read that textbook every single chapter. That's how I passed that statistics class, is because I read every chapter and taught myself statistics. Now, it being business statistics, it applied a lot to the business world. And because of that, I found that I rather enjoyed business. And at this same time, horticulture, while I enjoyed it, and specifically landscape design while I was good at it, was becoming boring to me. And I realized that I needed to change my major. Along with changing my major, I decided to go to a different school. Part of the reason of that was because Kansas State University has a rather large business department. Because of that, I would not get one-on-one teacher time like I was used to in the horticulture department. And so I looked for schools with the same accreditation business-wise as Kansas State. And I came upon Montana State University. And that's why I moved here. Now, with these grand intentions of becoming a business major, I at first thought about running a bike shop or working for a bank or something like that. When I came to Montana State University, I took a year off, or actually a year and a half off, so I could get in-state tuition. And with that, when I started taking classes, I became to get involved in more and more activities that built community. And because of these community building activities, my ideas about business started to change a little bit. I started to look at business as a tool to build community. Now, before I go on any further, when I was in high school, I started out with one group of friends. I met them in middle school and we continued to high school together. And about my junior year in high school, I decided that, rightfully so, one of my friends was doing something wrong. And I brought it to his attention, not saying you should stop it, but saying, hey, let's take a deeper look at what you're doing. He didn't like that very much. He turned against me, and the rest of that group of friends turned against me, unfortunately. And the most interesting group of people decided to take me in. And I say interesting because I was very much the opposite of them in one way. They were jocks on the football team. I had no interest in playing football and didn't even really like football. But they took me in anyways. I had a couple of them in my ag classes, and they decided to take me in. And it was this great sense of community that these guys had for me that really changed my outlook on things. And I still remember it very fondly to this day. Now, Let's fast forward again to me being in college and realizing that business can be a tool to build community. And at first I had these great ideas of opening an outdoor sporting goods store. You know, camping and hunting and shooting sports and archery and fishing and all those wonderful things that Montana has to offer. And then I realized that the margins on that sort of thing are extremely low. And I would probably never have a comfortable life at all. Not saying that a comfortable life is a good thing and that you should never challenge yourself, but I would probably not achieve what I wanted personally for myself. And for one Christmas, or actually it was a birthday, then my girlfriend, now my wife, gave me a book on home brewing. And with that, I've been greatly interested in running a brewery or a home brew shop. And there's something that you can do with running a brewery or home brew shop. Community often can be had, and a great talking point is around beer, because it is every man's drink. The motorcycle, rough-looking dude, and the businessman in an Armani suit can both enjoy beer. And it is that thing that can bring them together. Now you might say, well, that sounds rather familiar to something we all have in common on the YTPC, and that's the pipe. And with this, I don't know if a lot of you have watched my video from a few months ago where I was increasingly frustrated with my current job. And it was because of a lot of corporate politics, and those corporate politics still are going on, and I just tend to ignore them now, or at least not let them play a major role on me. And because of that, beer and the pipe, home brewing and cigars, what have you, so the tobacco and the beer culture, I eventually went to open my own homebrew supply and tobacconist. Now some of you might say, well, that's a silly thing with the FDA rulings going on. But I say, no, it's not. I will find a way. Because I love that sense of community that these things bring. It is about more than what's in the glass or what's in the pipe or what's rolled in a cigar. There is a much deeper value to those things. And so now what am I doing with my life? Well, I currently work for a large national corporation, which if you watched my PVC pipe rack or pipe tobacco storage video, I give you a small little hint to where I work. If you figure it out, look it up. Don't tell anybody, but you can tell anybody if you figure it out. I don't care. I just choose not to mention it. And even though I sell nuts and bolts, I still can build a sense of community, and I still have something to sell that matters to somebody because I sell more than nuts and bolts. I sell an end value. Yeah, sure, it may be a nut and bolt, but guess what? It could be going in somebody's wheelchair to give them mobility, or it could be going in somebody's tractor to help them give us food. And what's better than community than those things? So, now that I look back over everything, what I originally set out to be was someone that built a community. And guess what? That's exactly what I am today. And no matter what my profession is, if you watch my previous videos, dealing with who I am and not what I am, it's more important than anything I could ever be as a what, but a who. So with that, Padre Piper, thank you for this wonderful contest. There have been lots and lots of great entries so far. I have not been able to watch them all yet. Once I get done recording this and finish this bowl, I'm going to go back inside and watch a few of those. But it is one of those things that asking a simple question can easily turn out to be much more a broader thing. And with that, my friends, be kind and good to each other.